You are here. That is enough. Whatever you carried into today, set it on the floor beside the bed. Whatever you carried into the last hour, set that down too. The room you are about to enter does not need any of it. There is a hallway inside you tonight. Long, cool, soft underfoot. At the far end of it, a great room. And lining the walls of that room, 50 doors. Behind each door, a different version of you. Some of them have already done what you are still trying to do. Some have already become who you are slowly becoming. Some are waiting for you, and have been waiting longer than you know. Tonight, you will meet one of them. Before you walk down the hallway, breathe in slowly. Out slowly. Again. In slowly. Out slowly. This practice asks you to believe nothing. Whoever you understand to be in this room with you, God, the saints, your ancestors, your higher self, your future self, your unconscious mind, the universe, the part of your brain that imagines, or simply you, talking to yourself. They are welcome here. The mechanism is yours to choose. The practice is the same. You may close your eyes now if they are not already closed. You may set your screen face down if it is not already down. The room does not need light. The room does not need anyone watching. It only needs you. The hallway is real enough now to walk. Each step, unhurried. Each breath, a little slower than the last. The walls of the hallway are warm to the touch. The floor is soft. Dark stone, polished wood. You may choose, but it is not important. The ceiling is high, and arches softly upward. At the end of the hallway, the great room opens. You step inside. Around you, 50 doors. You do not need to count them. You do not need to find them all. On some nights, you will only see a few. On some nights, you will see them all at once. On some nights, only one will be lit. Tonight, one of them is calling. Let the pull come to you. Do not search for it. You are drawn to a door. This door is made of dark wood. Simple. Unadorned. There is no decoration on it. No lock visible. Just a surface worn smooth by time and use. The light beneath it is soft. Not bright. Not dark. Just enough to see by. You know what this door is before your mind can name it. It is the door of the self who stopped. The self who stopped numbing. You may feel many things as you read those words. Some of you may feel relief at having it named. Some of you may feel grief rise all at once, as if someone has opened a window and all the cold air is coming through. Some of you may feel nothing yet. Your body may take a moment to catch up to what you are about to do. That is all right. The self on the other side of this door knows every one of these responses. You may understand, even now, that naming the thing you reached for is dangerous. Because to name it means you cannot unknow it anymore. To name it means you have to face the question of why you reached for it in the first place. What were you not feeling? What were you running from? What truth was too big for you to hold awake? Behind this door is the version of you who stopped reaching. Not because the substance went away, or the behavior, or the screen, or the food, or the work, or the anger, or whatever it was that did the covering. Not because the urge disappeared. Not because one day you woke up and suddenly did not want it anymore. You stopped because something shifted. Because you caught a glimpse of the version of you that still existed underneath the numbness. And you could not unknow them once you saw them. You may take your hand to the door now. The wood is warm. The handle is smooth. Step through when you are ready. The room beyond the door is not what you expected. It is smaller than before. More still. There is a window that you did not see from the hallway. And beyond it, nothing. Or everything. A soft darkness that you cannot penetrate. 2 chairs. A low table. But nothing on the table. No candle. No water. No object at all. The walls are a color you cannot quite name. Older than white. Richer than gray. The color of stone that has been rained on, again and again, for years. There is a kind of quiet here that your nervous system notices. A quiet that says, "It is over." The self sitting across from you looks like you, but different. This is what tiredness looks like when it finally gets to rest. This is what tension looks like when it finally lets go. There is a realness to them that almost hurts to see. The numbness kept you at a distance from your own life. Everything was muffled. Everything was soft and distant and not quite real. This version of you is real. It is almost too real to look at. Witness them first. Notice their breath. It is slower than yours. Deeper. Not forced. Just the breath of someone who has stopped holding it. Notice their skin. When you were numb, your skin was numb too. You could touch your own arm and barely feel it. The world was coming to you muffled, through several layers of cloth. Their skin remembers how to feel. Not in a way that is happy. In a way that is simply there. Temperature. Texture. The prickling of the air in a cool room. Sensation has returned, slowly, like color coming back to something that has been in the dark. Notice their eyes. They have been crying, or they will be crying soon, or they cry still, in a different room, at a different time. But in this moment, the tears are still. The eyes are red but not wet. The eyes are clear. Notice their hands. These hands are no longer reaching. Not in anger. Not in searching. Not in the automatic motion of someone going through the steps without thinking. These hands are still. But not clenched. Just. Still. Notice something you do not expect. They do not look healed. Healing is not what happened here. Healing sounds like whole. Complete. The wound closing up as if it was never opened. What happened instead is this. They learned to live with the wound. They learned that the numbness was not protecting them from feeling the wound. The numbness was protecting them from feeling everything else. And the everything else was worth more than the protection. You may sit down now. Breathe with them. In, slowly. Out, slowly. Again. In, slowly. Out, slowly. When they speak, it will be quiet. When they speak, it will be as if they are using their voice for the first time in years. I want to start by telling you what you already know. You did not stop because you wanted to. You stopped because you had to. Not because someone made you. Not because you were arrested. Not because your family left. Not because one moment of crisis was so large that you could not ignore it anymore. Though some of those things may have happened. You stopped because the version of yourself you were becoming was someone you did not recognize. And that version was starting to scare you. There is a moment, for some people, where the thing that was supposed to protect you starts to protect you from too much. It protects you from pain. Yes. But it also protects you from joy. From connection. From the feeling of being alive. And then something happens. Someone laughs, and you do not hear it. Someone holds your hand, and you do not feel it. A moment of beauty comes through the window, and it cannot reach you through the layers. And you think, I am no longer present for my own life. That is when some people decide to stop. Not because the stopping is easy. Not because they have found something better yet to replace it. Not because they are strong or wise or ready. But because the alternative, the idea of spending the next 10 years muffled, watching your own life through frosted glass, starts to seem like a kind of death anyway. And if you are going to die, at least let it be while you are still alive. Let me tell you what you were protecting yourself from. There was a feeling underneath it. Or many feelings. For some of you, it was loneliness so big you could not see the other side of it. For some, it was shame so hot that to feel it directly would have burned you. For some, it was rage that you were terrified of releasing. If you let it out, you did not know if it would ever stop. For some, it was love that was never returned. And the ache of loving someone who did not love you back was bigger than any other pain you had known. For some, it was just the grinding, day-to-day suffering of being alive in a body that felt wrong. In a world that did not want you. For some, it was all of these at once. The substance, or the behavior, or the screen, or whatever you reached for. It worked. That is important to say. It worked. For a while, maybe for years, it did exactly what you needed it to do. It covered the feeling. It made the hours pass. It made the night less long. It gave you something to reach for when there was nothing else to reach for. There is no shame in that. The shame is what comes later, when the protection starts to feel like a prison. Now I want to tell you about the first morning. The morning after you stopped. Or the first morning when you realized you had actually stopped, and you were not going back. Everything is strange. Your body feels like a body for the first time in years. And that strangeness is almost unbearable. The numbness is wearing off. And the wearing off is painful. Like pins and needles, but across your entire nervous system. Like waking up in a limb that has been asleep, and all the nerves are firing at once, confused, remembering how to work. You did not know you had to learn how to feel again. No one tells you that. No one tells you that grief and joy and anger and loneliness are skills that have to be rebuilt from the ground up. That first morning, you probably cried. Or you felt like you should be crying and could not. Or you felt nothing, which was worse, because it meant the numbness might not actually be gone yet. It might just be rearranging itself. The light came through the window and you felt it. Not metaphorically. You felt it. On your skin. A small warmth. Almost nothing. But you felt it. And that fact alone was enough to bring you to your knees. Some of you remember the first song you actually heard. After years of sound being muffled, Suddenly there is a chord change in a song you have heard 1,000 times. And you cry because you did not know that chord was there. Or you remember the first time you tasted food. Not just consumed it. Tasted it. Your mouth waking up. Your tongue remembering what salt tastes like. What sweetness tastes like. What bitterness tastes like. Or you remember the first time someone touched your shoulder and you flinched. Because they were real. They were actually there. And you were actually here, present enough to notice them. The awakening is not gentle. The awakening is violent, sometimes. Your body screaming back to life. Your nervous system convinced that something is terribly wrong, because it can feel again. And somewhere underneath all of that, there is grief. The grief is not new. The grief was always there, underneath the numbness. But now you can feel it. Now you have to face it. And it is bigger than you expected. You look back at the years you missed. Not the big moments. You remember the big moments. You are grieving the small ones. The small mornings you slept through, because you were recovering from the night before. The conversations where someone was talking to you and you were in the room, but not there. The quiet afternoon when your child played and you watched without seeing. The sunset you walked past every day and never noticed because your eyes were not open. There is a quality to this grief that is different from other grief. Other grief is about something that happened to you. This grief is about something you did to yourself. And that makes it harder to forgive. You may find yourself thinking, if I had woken up sooner, if I had stopped sooner, how many years did I waste? And the answer is, enough. You wasted enough years. And that is a real loss. But you cannot go back and take those years different. You can only be awake for the years that are coming. I will tell you about the years after the first morning. Because the stopping does not end at the first morning. The stopping is a process. A long, slow, daily process of choosing, again and again, to feel rather than to numb. There are days when the substance, or the behavior, or the screen, or whatever it was, it calls to you again. Not because the urge has returned. The urge never fully leaves. But because there is a moment of pain that you do not think you can feel without drowning in it. And the old answer rises up automatically. Take the pill. Pour the drink. Open the app. Start the scroll. Burn the anger at someone. Work until you collapse. Eat until you disappear. Whatever your answer was. That is when the decision comes. That is when you get to decide again. This is what I learned. The desire to numb never goes away completely. But it stops being your only option. More options start to arrive. You can feel the pain and also call a friend. You can feel the pain and also go for a walk. You can feel the pain and also write it down, or paint it, or move your body, or sit with the pain and have it be what it is. The pain does not kill you. This is surprising. For all the years you were avoiding it, you were told, in 1,000 subtle ways, that this feeling would destroy you. That if you felt it fully, you would not come back. That the only survival strategy was to avoid it. But it turns out that feelings are not as powerful as avoidance. Feelings move through you. Avoidance stays inside you. I want to tell you about the relapse. Because for many of you, there will be a relapse. This is not a failure. This is what relapses are. They are the mind and body testing. They are the old neural pathways still lit up, still saying, remember how good this felt. Remember how quiet this made things. Remember how fast the pain went away. Just one more time. And for some of you, you will give in. You will do the thing you said you would never do again. And the shame will come. Oh, the shame will come. The voice that says, you have failed. You are back where you started. All those years of stopping have been erased. You are weak. You are useless. You cannot do this. Listen to me. You have not failed. A relapse is not a return to the beginning. A relapse is when someone who has tasted sobriety finds it bitter one more time. It is the body remembering the old addiction. But you are not the addiction. You are the one watching the addiction. And the watching is the thing that matters. I relapsed. More than once. I thought the stopping was supposed to be a straight line. Up and away, and never looking back. I did not know it was a spiral. Some days going further away. Some days coming back around to a place I thought I had left. But each time I came back a little faster. The numbness did not feel as good anymore. Because I had remembered what feeling felt like. The fog did not settle as easily. Because some part of my brain had remembered what clarity felt like. The relapse was shorter. The return was faster. And one day, I realized that the relapse had become something else. It had become a teacher instead of an anchor. It told me something I needed to know. It told me that whatever triggered it was too big for me to handle alone. That I needed help. I needed a friend. I needed a professional. I needed to admit what was underneath. The relapse was not a failure. The relapse was information. And the person I became was someone who could listen to that information, instead of someone who had to numb it away. I want to tell you about the joy. This is the part that no one prepares you for. Numbing does not just cover the bad feelings. It covers the good ones too. You have been living in a world where everything has been muffled. The pain is muffled. Yes. But also the beauty. Also the small moment of being alive. When you stop, the joy comes back first. Not the happiness. That takes longer. But the joy. The simple, sharp, clear joy of being alive in a body that can feel. It comes in small moments. A piece of fruit that you taste for the first time in years. The weight of a blanket that suddenly feels like love. A person in front of you, and you are actually seeing them. Not through the fog. Seeing them. A song that makes you cry, because you can actually hear it. A color that is just a color, but you see it. The joy is not constant. It comes and goes. But when it comes, you know you made the right choice. You know that feeling something is better than feeling nothing. Even when the something is painful. There is a grief that comes with this realization too. The grief of all the joy you did not feel while you were numb. But the grief is worth it. Because it means you are alive now. I want to say something to the version of you who needed to numb. The version of you that reached for the substance, the behavior, the screen, the food, the work, the anger. That version did what they had to do to survive. And there is no shame in that. The shame is a luxury. The shame is something you only feel when you are safe enough to feel it. And the fact that you are safe enough now means that version did their job. They kept you alive. The version of you sitting across from me does not judge them. The version of you sitting across from me remembers being them. And the version of you sitting across from me is here to tell you. You can come home now. You do not have to numb anymore. Not because you have healed completely. Not because the pain has gone away. But because you have learned that you are stronger than the pain. You are stronger than the substance. Stronger than the behavior. Stronger than the compulsion. You are awake. Let me say that again for the part of you that still wants to sleep. You are awake. And the being awake is hard. And the being awake is real. And the being awake is worth it. I want to tell you about the body. The body remembers the numbness long after the mind stops reaching for it. The body has a muscle memory of avoiding. When you were numb, your body lived in a particular way. Breath shallow. Stomach tight. Jaw clenched. Shoulders forward. The posture of someone who is not here. When you stop numbing, the body takes longer to learn the new posture. The posture of someone who is here. Breath deep. Stomach open. Jaw relaxed. Shoulders back. You may notice that your body is learning this posture now. As you sit here with me, your breath may deepen without your noticing. Your shoulders may drop a quarter inch further back. Your stomach may soften. This is your body remembering that it is safe to be present. I want to say something about the people around you. If you have been numbing for years, the people around you have gotten used to the numb version of you. They have built their relationships around someone who is not all there. And when you wake up, it will surprise them. Sometimes they will be delighted. Sometimes they will be unsettled. Some people will want you to go back to sleep. Not because they are cruel, but because the sleeping version was easier to live with. This is their work to do, not yours. Your work is to stay awake, to keep choosing the feeling instead of the numbing, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. Some people will want to wake up too, when they see you. You may find that your sobriety is contagious. That as you become more present, the people around you become more present too. Not because you told them to, but because your aliveness is calling to the aliveness in them. I want to tell you something about the future. There will be days when you wake up and you still feel the pull toward numbing. Not because you have failed. Not because you are not strong enough. But because you are human. And the human nervous system will always reach for the quick answer when the pain is too big. And I want you to know that on those days, there is nothing wrong with you. There is only a day that is bigger than your resources in this moment. And that is when you reach for something else. You reach for a friend. You reach for help. You reach for a different choice. And you keep choosing the awake, even when it is hard. The years ahead of you are not going to be easier than the years behind you. But they are going to be real. You are going to feel them. You are going to live them. And that is what you came here for. I want to tell you something about the relief. On some of the hardest days, a small relief comes. It is not happiness. It is not peace. It is just a small moment where the pressure lets up. Where you are not fighting your own body anymore. Where you are not at war with yourself. That relief is real. Hold on to that. You may stand now if you wish. Or you may stay seated. Whatever your body needs. The self across from you stands as well. or doesn't. Mirroring you. There is something they want to tell you before you leave. The thing you were numbing, it does not go away by stopping the numbness. The pain, the shame, the loneliness, the wrongness, the rage. All of it is still there. It is still waiting for you. But now you can face it. Now you can feel it. Now you can move through it, instead of around it. And that is the only way it actually heals. Not by avoiding. By moving through. And I am here on the other side of it. I am here as proof that you can make it. They place a hand on the place where you have been reaching. For some of you, that is where the substance went. For some, the screen that held your attention. For some, the behavior that took your energy. Wherever you have been reaching, they place a hand there. It is warm. It is steady. It does not hurt. And they say, very quietly, you can stop reaching now. The hand remains for one more breath. Then it lifts away. And in its place, a small warmth stays behind. A warmth that says, you are here. You are real. You are present. You may turn and walk toward the door. The self walks with you, or does not. Mirroring your pace. The hallway is waiting. The hallway is darker now than when you entered. That is correct. The hallway is preparing you for sleep. You may walk a few steps and then stop. You may stand still and let the hallway dissolve around you. Or you may keep walking and feel yourself being carried gently toward waking. There is no wrong way to leave this room. Wherever you find yourself now, stay there. The work is done. Tomorrow you may notice something is different. You may not be able to name it. You may not think it is connected to tonight. That is all right. Something in you knows that you have sat across from the version of yourself that stopped. And that version is still possible. Sleep is welcome here. You are awake. You are present. You are returning. You are whole. You are free.